Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to talk about something rather interesting that I only had realized in retrospective, namely that Ainz Ooal will likely need the Elf King's aid in the upcoming conflict with Platinum Dragonlord, since the Elf King has actually very valuable information that Ainz would, especially since he likes to be prepared, really like to possess. But before we are going to take another look at how Ainz Ooal will likely get what he wants, let's look first at my Patreons and thank them for their generous support. Furthermore, I say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. Now with that said, let's start with why Ainz Ooal would need the Elf King and his knowledge. It's quite simple. During the last volumes we have not only learned that the Elf King is perhaps not the nicest or most decent of beings, but he nevertheless is still the son of a player, and not just a player, but rather somebody who belonged to a player group that shaped the new world to a far greater degree than Ainz Ooal and his very own guild thus far have done. The 8 Greed Kings themselves, the legendary player group that fought an apocalyptic war with the Dragonlords of old, who were far more numerous and even stronger than those of today. And they had won. And once again, the Elf King could remember his father. He even knows how he fought, namely like an elven fencer. So it seems that the Elf King, or at least one of them, was some stereotypical high elven fencer cliché build, in terms of how we imagine the elves to fight and to conduct combat. And again, these little glimpses into the Elf King's mind likely also means that he did not just knew his father either, but that he also likely remembers the rest of the 8 players, and how they fought their apocalyptic war with the Dragonlords and perhaps even their own apocalyptic civil war that would ultimately destroy them. And elves are aging far slower than humans, so if he's old enough to have memories of his father, then he would also have likely spent at least a decade getting to know the ins and out of his father's home, aka the guild base of the 8 Greed Kings. And elves, as told by his father, were meant to dominate everybody else, were meant to rule, and to take the world for their very own. So the father had actually educated his son, and shaped his worldview to a very great degree. And Dekam Hugin, the Elf King, really respected his father, not only for his strength, but also for his education, so therefore he was not an orphan that had just been born right after the Elf King had died in the Civil War, but he actually had lived through this legendary era. Furthermore, the Elf King might also know about the world-class item of the 8 Greed Kings. Maybe this world-class item was even the world-class item of his father, and he sees it as his birthright, wanting to retake it at some point. And since Platinum now dwells in the former guild base of the 8 Greed Kings, and since he has killed players before and captured the world-class item, Platinum is in a relatively comfortable and dangerous position, at least from Ainz Ooal's perspective, so the intel the Elf King holds would be really valuable. But now he's dead, killed by his own daughter, and this complicates things so very much. Since Ainz Ooal had previously fought and severely wounded the Elf King, he might refuse resurrection and just stay dead. So in order to even get him back, Ainz would likely need to leave the room and perhaps position the 3 former elven slaves from area Usrud, now living inside the Great Tomb of Nezarec, around him, in order to have them call out to him, perhaps calling him my liege and my king, and begging him to please return, your power is needed for the sake of elfkind, or something like this. Or threaten to draw something indecent on his nether regions if he won't come back. It worked on Kazuma after all. Essentially, he needs to be tricked in order to come back at this point, at least if Ainz Ooal is the one reviving him. And something similar has actually worked on Sarayusu, who initially refused the resurrection of Ainz Ooal, and he only came back after hearing Crash Ludo's voice, so perhaps the Elf King needs to be convinced. Oh, and as for his body, Pandor's actor will almost certainly have picked it up after being sent back to clean up afterwards. And with the Elf King restored to life, Ainz has quite a few options on how to do business with him, and gets what he wants. Since Ainz was a salaryman, and even likely worked in sales or something related, he could just offer the Elf King a very sweet deal to get what he truly wants. Or considering what the Elf King wanted to do to Aura and Mare. And this is now far more likely, he will just have a bunch of NPCs ready to immediately subdue the Elf King and then search his mind before he is sent to the Happy Farm. And Ainz would likely only think that he will get some general intel and perhaps some insight into centuries past, only for him to learn that the Elf King was the son of a player, therefore getting much more information than he initially wanted, and perhaps he would now be able to connect the dots, leading from Riku Aganea to Platinum. So, at least in my opinion, Ainz will likely resurrect the Elf King. I mean, the Elf King also had casted Mercy of Shoria Robusta on him, which would allow him to come back even without any level loss, since he had been killed by his enemies, and the spell prevented any level loss if this is truly the case. So, his return has kinda been foreshadowed, at least in my opinion. And now it's time for yours. Do you agree with my reasoning and how valuable the information of the Elf King could potentially be? Or do you believe that Ainz Ooal will make the same mistake twice and just leave a body containing very valuable information just lying around for others to pick it up? Let me know down in the comment section. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Ada Daddy Ada, Bad Guy Yi, Bad Burrito 316, Bezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowdy 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dragonlord Placy Du Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feralchivan, Guy with That Hat, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Lovewazer, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, oh hell no, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Cune Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rag Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenukai, and Zonegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon under my next video.